Hello, everyone. It's Melina and
Jordan, hi.
we are the board certified BAes.
Boys.
Welcome back. Look,
What
I'm
up, what up, what up,
wearing
what
my
up?
shirt. It says autumn leaves and more data, please.
And I'm wearing a black shirt.
So we're getting ready for fall.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, if that's what it is. How's your week been?
It's been good.
Did you get more data?
I got some.
All right,
I'm
cool.
learning though and motivity, so uh it's just taking me some time, but I really do like it.
It is good.
Yeah, so
It's
I came back from maternity leave and they were using a whole new system. So I feel like I'm starting all over again to a certain extent.
good. Yeah, creativity.
Yeah. So, anyways, how was your week?
It's good. You're back working, so less work for me.
You're welcome.
uh, but other than that, it's been good. Some quality time together.
In the
Oh,
workplace.
oh wow, she missed it. Oh, there we go. Now we're in sync now. Cool.
Yeah.
We needed that moment to get started.
Yeah. So, what are we talking about today?
We are going to talk about IEPs, BCBAs, roles, responsibilities, what it is, what they are, why they're around, and seeing you were an amazing educator before becoming a BCBA. Would you like to take this on and tell me and everybody else what an IEP is?
Okay. So, IEP, Individualized Education Plan. There you go. I'm just kidding. No, so
Mic drop.
yeah, IEPs. Basically, if a student needs some sort of accommodation, this is where you can find it. This is usually there's a meeting for it, but then there's actual a contractual agreement of what the school and school district will provide for the student. Parents have to be the ones to kind of sign off and be like, "Yep, we agree with that." Um, so this can be like speech, OT. It can be special accommodations in the classroom, maybe form of communication that they are wanting. It can look different for depending on what the student needs. So, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah. I mean, not really. Just to piggyback on what you're saying, really, um, is that it's all of all of the disciplines, right, that a school can offer that are
Mm-hmm.
at that meeting. So, um, general education, special education,
Mm-hmm.
nurse, um, sometimes physical education teacher or PE teacher,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then the psychologist,
Mm-hmm.
principal, vice principal, teacher, something.
Yep.
Right. Because they want the kids to be successful,
Yes. Well,
in theory,
yeah.
on paper.
That's what, yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's what an IEP is, right? It is a plan to educate a child based
Yes.
on their individual needs.
Yes. Sounds so official, kind of intimidating, but should we be there? Should we attend them as BCBAs?
Yes.
Okay. So,
Wait, should we be afraid of them?
no.
No.
But again, we have to also be invited to them from the parents. It's not like we can just pop up and be pop up and show.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yes.
You can't just come to it on your own and just beep beep. Hey, I'm here. Like the parent needs to invite you to it as a guest. So,
Yes.
but yeah, we shouldn't be afraid of them. I think if anything, it helps to like align um
Goals,
goals.
objectives.
Yeah. It's that collaboration piece that helps to make a student successful. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that there have been numerous like people that are in a program to collect like BCBA hours and whatnot that I've talked to recently that have said that they're concerned about an IEP. I was like, why? What you said is true. We have to be invited to start with, but we should also float that offer out
Yes,
to
because
families
parents.
because parents don't know that. Uh, and we have tons of information
Mhm.
if we've been seeing this client for long enough to of data and objectives and goals that we've worked on, how they're progressing, what helps them, proactive strategies, reactive
Mhm.
strategies. This is all information that a school should want to know.
And what if, there's already a BCBA on the team from the district? Should we still go?
Yeah,
And why is that?
because we can collaborate, and not just because they have one doesn't mean they're the best one.
Or that they have time to even see the
So
kid.
if you are one single lonely BCBA in a school district that has 5, 10, 15 schools, which means that you probably have 300, 400 kids with special needs or an individual education plan, that is a lot for you to keep track of. The last IEP that I went to, or I went to an observation, and the BCBA that was in the IEP was there, ended up asking me a bajillion questions because, and I think she said that this was like one of 1,500 kids that her team got to see because they were in a large district. Like, yeah, I can't expect them to know everything there is about the client, even though it's a individualized education plan. It doesn't mean that they're the only individual that is being served by that BCBA.
Amen.
So yeah, absolutely, we should be there. Absolutely, we should collaborate with them because, like I've said in many other episodes, we're not here for us. We're not here for the other BCBA. We're here for the client.
Okay, so I guess my question for you is then, okay, we go to these meetings. What should we be doing? What can we do? What shouldn't we do? What can't we do?
Yeah. So that's an interesting question because a lot of this, let me retract that. First of all, we come as a guest. So as a guest, we don't really have the right to lead or be talking about everything that we want to share.
Yes.
Right? A lot of it has to come from the initiation of the parents or questions asked directly or specifically to us. I've been in IEPs where the team that is working to create the best environment possible for this child has asked tons of questions, right? Directed and wanted to have that engagement. And it also helps having a parent that wants to ask those questions in there. Being a guest, you don't really have the huge right to sit there and start, spitting off all the things that you know and what you've been going through. But when a parent asks, can you share some of the things that you've been working on? It's my favorite question for a parent to ask because then we share.
Yeah.
Rarely do I get teams that are at the school that take the lead in asking that. I have had a few and it's been amazing, and I love creating the appropriate procedures needed for a kid with those individuals because collaborating with them has been so much fun.
Yeah.
I've also been in IEPs where they did not acknowledge my existence. So, and then at the end, push a document and say, hey, sign this.
Yeah.
And we didn't even talk.
Yeah. And I would say too, from the perspective of being a teacher, I didn't at the time have any like students that had any they had something, but it wasn't like they had an IEP, but it was for something that really didn't affect them in my classroom space, so I didn't really have part in that. But as a teacher of just students, it's a lot, right? You're teaching, you're also trying to make sure everyone is doing what they're supposed to be doing. There's a lot of transitional points, especially when you're teaching multiple levels in one classroom setting. So I think as BCBAs, sometimes we come in without remembering that the teacher has, one, teachers are underpaid. Let's just start there. But two, that they do a lot within the classroom space. They're doing so much. So to add like a very detailed behavior plan or something like that can be a stressor to them. So we have to approach the IEP in a way where we're trying to help the teacher also be successful. Otherwise, we come in and they just see us as like something that's going to make their life more difficult.
Yeah. And I was actually listening to a CEU the other day that was specifically about BCBAs in school districts, right? And it was talking about the difference between a consultant and a collaborator. And a consultant will come in and tell you this is what you got to do and this is how you do it, and then leave you to your own devices. Somebody who would collaborate with them is going to find out the wants, the needs, the abilities, and the constraints that are going to prevent them from being able to do that, and find a middle ground where you can get the most out of the least amount of effort. And I think that should be our role coming in, because we have strategies that we've already implemented with the client outside of the school setting. So we would want to try and tailor those strategies for them to be successful in the school setting.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. And I think that's where our collaboration can be. But it comes down to that there's always going to be a disconnect, because the IDEA Act, right, is what the teachers are governed by, and our BCBA, like BACB ethics codes, are what we're governed by. They align in the sense that they want to do the best for the individual, but they do not align on how to get there.
Yes.
And so we can't say, well, the teacher sucks because they're not implementing any of this stuff. Well, if they've got one child, that's just our client, and they've got this plan for them, and they've got 3 other kids on a different plan with different BCBAs at different agencies, and then 27 students that are in the classroom, you're talking about 30 with 3 different plans, and then the whole class plan. That is a lot. So we need to work together to try and find something out. And then on top of that, you're expecting them to be at your beck and call and be able to respond to any email or anything like that quickly. It's just not going to happen. So if we want to be successful in an IEP or in with our client in the school setting, we have to take into account the people that are providing services to them, because they're not therapists, they're teachers.
Yeah, and there are support people, in the district that can be assigned to a student. But even then, the training isn't the same as the training that we have when we are like, well, I guess that's also can differ from agency to agency.
Yep.
But when I think about where we work, I'm like, the training that we provide for our staff there is so concentrated, and you get kind of handheld through it all. It's not like that in a district most of the time. I think one time I asked a principal kind of like, okay, so what training is the support person like going through? What are they gonna? And they don't know. She didn't even know. She was like, I couldn't answer that for you. And I'm like, great.
My kiddo is going to be successful.
Yeah, I'm like, sweet. If you don't know, I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's tricky, because it's like, we want to come in, we want to support the family, we want to support the school team, but obviously there are constraints of funding, time. So it's like this tricky balance of wanting to be helpful and also speaking up, and like you can't advocate for them, right? But you can also, if parents want you to, kind of speak up about like, maybe this worked for us in the clinic, so maybe this is worth trying. So yeah, it's like this tricky balance of like trying to make sure that you're not overstepping these boundaries, but also that you are there to be helpful, how the parents want you to be, of course.
Absolutely. And I think our roles are different, those in the school district and for us outside of it. I think one of the unique and cool ways I've approached IEPs in the more recent years is being very inquisitive, asking a lot of questions, asking for clarification, specifically when teachers start mentioning behaviors. So like, oh, could you describe that for me? Could you tell me what it looks like on an average day? And really asking those questions instead of sharing what it is that we're doing, starting with a place of trying to absorb the knowledge has lessened the resistance to input, in my opinion. But it also it's twofold. So for those of you that are going through this and going to be in places like that, one, it lessens the resistance to feedback, but it also opens the door for it to be taken in the notes, because IEPs
Absolutely.
are recorded. There's a note taker in an IEP. Sometimes you skip over stuff to show that there isn't necessarily a need, and whether it's purposeful or not, I can't even say. But we skip over information in an IEP, and it might not be dictated in the notes, right? And so when in the IEP as a whole, I will ask those clarifying questions, because then when I'm asking those questions, that means we're spending more time on those behaviors and talking about them, which means that it's a substantial point in the meeting that gets recorded.
Yep.
And then we got some references to go back, because when they, and I've been in IEPs before, they're like, well, this is the first we're hearing of it. They can't use that anymore.
Yeah.
Because the teacher already expressed to us the behaviors that they were going through. And so it's been fun in those IEPs and like looking at the previous one and being like, well, it was noted here on this page. I'm looking at page 11. And it said that the teacher, stated that there has been, these sorts of behaviors present. And they're like, you're right.
Yeah.
It's like, so what are we going to do about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of having that accountability there for sure.
Yeah. Like the roles are different for us between a BCBA in the school district and a BCBA that works outside. We may not have as many clients or individuals that need services from us, which allows us to spend a little bit more individualized time getting to know the client and therefore being able to implement things.
Yeah.
We can try those things out and share them with the school. Yeah. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we can draw up another plan and try again.
Mm-hmm.
They might not have the same resources to do that.
It's like, okay, everyone else in the classroom, just wait while I try something real quick. And then we'll, No, it doesn't work.
It's like, I want everybody to do independent studies right now. And I'm going to take this on.
With a whole bunch of 6-year-olds.
Yeah, it's just not going to work. So that's kind of the differences between both BCBAs in schools and out of schools. And I think what an IEP is, I think it is a great tool. I think that there are ways to do it. But I also think, and I also understand that a lot of the teachers, a lot of people that work in the school districts want the best for the clients or the children that they're serving or students, but their hands are tied behind their back because it all comes down to funding.
Yeah. Yep.
They're understaffed, underpaid, and that is a huge resource constraint. And so we just have to be mindful of that. It's not that schools don't agree with what we're saying. They just don't have the resources.
They just suck. Let's be honest. There's some times where IEPs can get a little intense and you're like, you're just not nice. But for the most part.
It's very true.
Funny fact, okay? The week that I went on maternity leave. So, okay, I had my baby on Sunday. Let's rewind 7 days before that. Between that Sunday and the Sunday I gave birth, I had 2 IEPs, and thank the Lord that they went okay, because for sure, when they get intense, I was like, I'm gonna start labor. I'm gonna labor right here in this IEP meeting right now, because I feel like they all happen in like May, towards the end of the year.
Yeah, well, the beginning.
Yeah. So, anyways, that was funny. I just think back to that because I was like, listen, I got 2 IEPs to make this week, and we gonna make them, and then I had my child 2 days later.
That's a testament to how you feel about your work. Like, you gonna be there.
I was like, FaceTime me from the hospital bed. I'm just kidding. All right, y'all. Well, yeah, that's it. That's IEPs for you. Thank you for tuning in. Any random questions you have? I
don't have any random questions other than, I feel like this was a good one. I feel like it was really informative. I feel like we should have a glass of something later.
I agree. That sounds like a great plan. Let's wait till 8:05. That's usually when our child is finally in bed.
Sounds good to me.
All right, y'all.
Until the next time.
We'll see you later.
See ya.